Just my CBD capsule.
Hello, hello. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to Clinical Conversations at High Noon with the Green Nurses at Holistic Caring Network, where we bring hope and inspiration for growth and healing. And we are truly here to change the dialogue and stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys a little video about what we do in the cannabis space as nurses, and then we will get to the show. Here we go.
We changed the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship, and what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine. And I'm excited to really bring this into light. There's a company called Canum that we're merging with, and we will now be doing global education.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
And it's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers. All right, here we are, everybody. So my name is Sherry Tutkus, and I'm the Vice President of Nursing at Holistic Caring and the Green Nurse. I'm a cannabis nurse, patient advocate, activist, and a very, very passionate podcaster, here to change the paradigm of healthcare with my partner here, Elizabeth Mack. I want to introduce my business partner, co-host of our monthly clinical conversation, Elizabeth Mack. She is the CEO and founder of Holistic Caring Network and the Director of Clinical Affairs at Canum, where we are building global clinics. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here as always. Happy New Year. Happy 2023.
Yes. And, Elizabeth, it's always good to see you and always good to learn from you. And you have taught me a lot about the 4 Ds and the 4 Ps that you have identified. And we know that there's a solution. So for our viewers, let's identify what the 4 Ds are and the 4 Ps, and then we'll hop into our topic.
Well, and what we're referring to is cannabis therapeutics and medicine and shopping for good, safe medicines and the system, right? You go to the dispensary and you stay in that system, there's a disconnect. You're not working with healthcare professionals. You're not making this a therapeutic option. There's distrust. How do we know what these medicines are? Are these people safe? Is everything else safe? There is a dosing issue because clinical therapeutics, we want to dial it in. We want to make sure that, we're able to fine tune things, and you really do need clinical support for that. And the 4 Ps, what do we have? Patients getting programs and process and professionalization and really being able to lead this forward with safe vetted products that we can take to people and make this really into an ecosystem that is all about healthcare and living your best life and becoming healthy and whole. So that's what we're going to talk about here today. And that's what we do at Lumiere Clinic.
Yeah. So we're going to pop up a couple of fun slides. This is a fun one. I like this. We know Elizabeth and I were traveling for the past 3 weeks on the East Coast. We started Project Lumiere in Florida, the Florida Project, and we met up with a patient who was talking about what it meant to be an Oscar or an Elmo, right? So are you an Oscar or an Elmo, and are you living your best life? You know, as we say all the time here, everyone deserves to feel good. We all deserve to feel good. And so we're here to decrease that stigma and to teach you how to do things to stimulate your endocannabinoid system. So our January newsletter was focused on self-care and happiness hacks, or boosting your endocannabinoid system. So quickly, raise your hand. Anyone out there overdo it on the holidays? Overeating, over drinking, overspending, overthinking, over watching movies, binge watching Netflix, traveling. And oftentimes, you know, these fun things, we put our self-care on the back burner, right? Overdoing it does what? It causes stress in our bodies, and stress is the number 1 impact in our bodies that causes inflammation, right?
Cortisol and all of that stuff that you're going to talk about.
Yep. So stress negatively impacts our bodies, creating more cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and that affects our brain. So unmanaged stress can make us do what? Be more reactive, where we may say or do something that we normally don't do. Unmanaged stress can also impact our self-care behavior, since we're in what? Fight or flight. So the key to the new year is about refocusing on self-care, which at its core is managing stress and the stress response. So, you know, we're going to talk about the endocannabinoid system, but what does good self-care look like when it comes to managing stress? Right? We did these happiness hacks.
So self-care.
Go into here. Sorry, next one.
Yeah, it revolves around supporting the endocannabinoid system and helping us be our best selves, our strongest selves, right? So health and wellness activities support the endocannabinoid system. Self-care is all of this, right? Using food as medicine, eating micronutrients, nutrient-dense whole foods, not processed foods. Adaptogens are our supplements, regular exercise. Motion is the lotion, not only for the joints and the muscles and the bones, but also to reduce stress, to get rid of that accumulation of angst that our bodies hold as we move through the emotions of our days. Exercise is the best way to do that. Stress management also with meditation, mind-body medicine. We can use massage, acupuncture, chiropractic, aromatherapy. Social connections. We had a lot of socialization over the holidays, but it's good to maintain that. Sometimes January goes into a little bit of a lull and we get depressed because we're not around. So people pick up the phone, call, keep those social connections strong because that makes you feel like you're not alone and gives you support. Limit alcohol, don't smoke, and get good restorative sleep. You really need to focus on sleep because sleep helps us. You spend a quarter to a third of your life sleeping, and it restores your body, mind, soul, all of it. When I don't sleep, I'm a little bit of a bear, and you know I'm not laughing. And so you want to be able to be able to laugh because laughter is the best medicine, boosting your endorphins, which we're going to talk about, and of course cannabis and CBD. It's just one of these tools. When we talk about good, dynamic, healthy living, we want to bring in cannabis and CBD to bring us back to parity, to homeostasis, which is our set point of balance.
Absolutely. So if you think about it, so if laughter is the best medicine and cannabis can help us to laugh, well, then it just makes sense that cannabis should be in the toolbox to support our endocannabinoid system. So we're going to get into a little bit of what the endocannabinoid system is, but I want to go back to this one slide before to talk about this happiness hacks. So when we talk about the endocannabinoid system, and I'm going to show you my favorite Green Nurses umbrella, the endocannabinoid system supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and those neurotransmitters, signaling systems that give messages to tell your body to do something or not do something. So the neurotransmitter signaling systems, particularly that we're going to be talking about today, are dopamine, the endorphins, oxytocin, and serotonin. And so when we are taking care of if the endocannabinoid system is the most important system in our body, it makes sense that we take care of it. So on the flip side, if you know about these other neurotransmitter signaling systems, such as dopamine, serotonin, and other things that you can do to support them, what you're actually doing inadvertently is supporting your endocannabinoid system.
It all work together.
It all works together in balance. So that's where this little fun, handy dandy slide comes in. This is the Green Nurse's umbrella, right? So like I had said before, the endocannabinoid system is the balancing system, the on-off switch. It is constantly going on and off all day long with a feedback loop correcting cell messaging. So I want you to imagine that your body is an umbrella. This is a depiction of the umbrella to show the interconnectedness of our entire body. All of the spokes of the umbrella make up your organ systems. The little tiny color fabric pieces that attach to the spokes of the umbrella are those neurotransmitter signaling systems that we talked about. The serotonin, the dopamine, the opioid signaling as well, and there's a lot more. And so what ends up happening is we produce internal endogenous cannabinoids upon demand to shower on our umbrella, to give messages to tell our neurotransmitter signaling system and then all of our 11 organ systems messages to keep the body in balance. So the endocannabinoid system reacts to stress or changes by releasing the endocannabinoids. It corrects the body by turning up signaling or turning down signaling. It's the agonist is do something, the agonist is not do something. So we have an endocannabinoid system, not because of cannabis, but because we make compounds in our body very similar to what the plant makes. So we're going to get into that.
Yeah, right? and we are we're hardwired for this plant, not because we're just hardwired for the plant itself, but because our body is making these endocannabinoids, right? And so we want to make sure that we're taking good care of this. So homeostasis, let's talk about what that is, because homeostasis is that set point of balance where we are strong and stable despite what's going on externally. So the external environment can be changing, emotions can be all over the place. Our internal homeostasis or balance is maintained by the endocannabinoid system. I like to talk about like an operator working a switchboard and listening to everything and making sure, do we need this? Do we need that? And that's what the endocannabinoid system does, directing the traffic of all of those other neurotransmitter signaling systems.
Yep. So homeostasis, internal balance when conditions change externally. So there's three functions to the endocannabinoid system. Cannabinoid receptors, which are on all the cell surfaces of all of our organ systems. So all of those little spokes of the umbrella have cannabinoid receptor 1 and cannabinoid receptor 2. And on the cell surfaces. So if we have an endocannabinoid deficiency, we're either not making enough or we're making too many. Then the other part of the endocannabinoid system are those internal endogenous cannabinoids that we make, the anandamide and the 2-AG, which we're going to show you a slide in just a minute. And then we also create enzymes that degrade the endocannabinoids. So we're looking for, it's a fine balance between the three functions of the endocannabinoid system, the receptors that are expressed, the endogenous cannabinoids that we make, and the enzymes that degrade and break them down. They all must be in the Goldilocks zone, right? So we have this very intelligent, smart body, and the physiological system of this smart body depends upon our endocannabinoid system to make those constant adjustments to influence what? Our sensory awareness, our pain perception, our appetite, our digestion, our mood, our memory, our motor function, inflammation, immune function, tumor surveillance, fertility, reproduction, temperature, hormonal balance, bone formation, eye pressure, stress adaptation, sleep, endocrine function, neural development, and neuroprotection, just to give a few. Right? It's a lot right there. So this next slide, we're going to talk about what stress does to the body and brain and how the endocannabinoid system is supposed to work managing the stress response. There's this handy dandy slide here.
So stress affects the body, right? When we are supposed to respond to a threat in our environment, we need to turn on cortisol. We need to turn on adrenaline. And that helps send blood to our muscles and taking it away from our core functions and being able to make sure we can be in fight or flight. But we want to be able to turn that off and on. And when we're in our daily living, we are in that stress response. We don't realize it, so you have to take time to back out and realize that your body is releasing this stress, and the endocannabinoid system should be regulating that. But you also have a part to play in your thoughts, right? So the endocannabinoid system can say, okay, calm down. This is not an emergency. You don't need to run. You just need to take a few breaths and come back to parity. But your endocannabinoid system has to be working to be able to do this. So it goes off and on, as Sherry said. And if you're low on the endogenous cannabinoids that you're supposed to be making, anandamide and 2-AG, to activate these receptors, I like to call them doorbells on cells. You ring the doorbell and things change in that cell. The physiology in that house changes. And that's what we're trying to do to get us back to balance. So without the ECS turning off your adrenaline, you could just be running in that fight or flight and chronically producing cortisol, gaining all of that middle that we are carrying that we want to help to shed in the new year, and to just really restore that proper messaging so that our body is always coming back to that balance. So body, mind, spirit, all working together. So that stress versus unstressed brain, when you think about the amygdala, that is our fear center. That is our emotional, our midbrain, right? Our reptilian brain. And it reacts whether you like it or not. And so you need to, that's why meditation works together with boosting the endocannabinoid system with good phytonutrients.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So the unstressed brain is the brain that is what? Green, go, can think, it's flowing, it's moving, right? You see the stressed brain, and the stressed brain is red, it's tight, it's constricted, nothing's flowing, right? And you have those weaker control of thoughts, emotions, and actions. So cannabis can be a really, really good tool. But we're going to get into a little bit more about the other neurotransmitters so we can kind of give you guys an understanding. So like we had said, there are other neurotransmitter signaling systems. So we see the adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine, glutamate, endorphins. And so this is the chart of these other neurotransmitter signaling systems that the endocannabinoid system regulates. So neurotransmitters relay their messages by traveling between cells and attaching to specific receptors on target cells. Each neurotransmitter attaches to a different receptor. For example, dopamine molecules attach to dopamine receptors. When they attach, it triggers an action in those target cells. So like I said, we have those other neurotransmitter signaling systems. And when we support those systems, we're actually supporting the endocannabinoid system too. So now we're going to get into a couple of happiness hacks, right? So we have here
dopamine and serotonin.
Yeah, dopamine and serotonin.
So dopamine, you know, we all want to chase dopamine, right? Somebody can become a dopamine junkie. Dopamine is about reward and winning and feeling good and chasing that thrill, right? It's about craving. It's not just about having that. That's more serotonin. It's about wanting. It's the desire that gets you out of bed. What is motivating you? What are you chasing? What are your goals? How do you pursue a goal? That's dopamine. You're going to get the constructive ways so that you can move forward in doing that. So, and you can increase your dopamine by exercising, eating good meals, because whole foods is always going to be the building blocks to the amino acids and the proteins that are going to help you make all of these neurotransmitters to activate. But when you're completing a task, when you're celebrating small wins, when you're taking care of yourself, you're enhancing dopamine. And then serotonin, that's appreciating what you have, where you are, just being content. Serotonin is where you are able to meditate, just go outside, just see the beauty all around you, just bathe in feeling good, and exercising and being active can help all of these neurotransmitters. But then spending time in nature, right? Just being in that bliss of the world and just realizing that you are building a better you every day, that you go out and have appreciation. So dopamine is the craving, serotonin is the appreciation.
Here we go. Dopamine and serotonin. You take care of those two systems, you're taking care of your endocannabinoid system. All right, here we go. And then we have oxytocin and endorphins, right? So these are activities that help make cannabis work better. So oxytocin, that love and belonging, you know, playing with a dog or a baby, being generous with compliments, giving and accepting more hugs. Self-love is the beginning of every healing journey, and oxytocin is produced between mother and child. You know, when you know, moms have their babies and they're nursing and they release the oxytocin, and it helps, you know, bring that closeness together. It's that love hormone. And so those things that you can do to improve it is to give a compliment to someone else that, you know, that helps. Physical affection, touch, hugging. And, you know, like I said, playing with a dog or a baby does stimulate those hormones.
And you can even just hug yourself. Yeah, I do that all the time sometimes. I need a hug. Just hug yourself and go back to just feeling that of your imagery can work just to stimulate that as well.
And you know what? And you're right too. And that's another thing that you can do too is self-massage, right? That's touching your skin. You know, that the sense of touch is very, very important to releasing oxytocin. And then endorphins, it's the painkiller, right? Endorphins are extremely, really important. You know, think about these different things. You know, endorphin is where opioids, right? So there's other things that we can do to help release those endorphins. So when you think about exercising, motion is the lotion. When you have that runner's high feeling, that's the release of those endorphins. And it's actually the endocannabinoid system that's helping to release that anandamide molecule that stimulates the THC molecule. So thinking about laughter, you know, laughing out loud, volunteering or giving back, exercising and being active, watching a good movie, you know, laughing as well. And so these are other, you know, happiness hacks that you can pair with cannabinoids to help you reach your goals with plant medicines. So when you don't have access to cannabinoids, you can support your system with these healthy activities to help you regain balance. So now we're going to just dive a little bit deeper and talk about how it all works together, right? How does cannabis work in the body, and why is this important for us all to be thinking about multiple different things besides just the plant? But let's dig into cannabis.
Yeah, so when we're talking about supplementing our endocannabinoid system with cannabinoids, let's talk about what cannabinoids are. So there are 3 different kinds of cannabinoids in the plant. So the cannabis plant is making cannabinoids. Those are the phytocannabinoids. So THC, CBD, CBG, CBN, all of the phytonutrients from the plant are the phytocannabinoids. The endocannabinoids are the ones that we're making endogenously. Endocannabinoids, endorphins, right? That's endogenous. We make them. They're manufactured in the body. They fulfill their purpose and they dissipate. And then there are synthetic cannabinoids, and these are marinol, dronabinol, sesamet. These are the pharmaceutically developed cannabis molecules that are going to be able to activate these same CB1, CB2 receptors. They all know, the FDA knows Epidiolex is a good example of synthetic, well, it's whole plant derived CBD, but it's purified into an isolate form. And Sativex is a 1-to-1 CBD THC, and Marinol is synthetic THC. So we know that these have therapeutic purposes in the body, which is why the pharmaceutical industry is making some of them. But all of them activate our cannabinoid receptors. A molecule is a molecule. It does certain things, but what we want to do is make sure that we're able to bring them all together using the entourage effect as much as possible. So the cannabinoids work on all of our systems, all of our physiology, and they help message in between these neurotransmitter signaling systems. So if we need to accentuate our dopamine, serotonin, maybe we can meditate on it, activate our ECS with good nutrition and good cannabinoids, and then get back to our life. So when we have a good, healthy endocannabinoid system, we feel good. Our body's at ease, our mind is working, we are well. When we don't have a healthy endocannabinoid system, when we're deficient in our endogenous cannabinoids, we get distressed. Our body is diseased because the switchboard's off. Think about, the switchboard being off and that operator just being off duty. We're not getting the messages that we need to have to balance ourselves. And that's when we want to supplement.
We want to supplement. So here is another reason why cannabis works. This is probably my most favorite slide.
It is your favorite slide.
It truly is, because that was the aha moment when it just makes sense. So this was a real big shoe drop for me. The plant makes THC, we make anandamide, and the molecular structure is very, very similar. You can see here right on this slide how it fits into the nerve cell receptor and how it's going to trigger an action. So the THC molecule is 10 times stronger than the anandamide molecule. That is why we don't need a lot of THC when we're working with patients. So THC molecule was isolated in 1964 by Dr. Raphael Mechoulam. The CB1 and CB2 receptors, which THC plugs into, was discovered in 1988. And in 1992, Dr. Lumir Hannes, who is right here, isolated anandamide molecule. And the anandamide molecule is the molecule that mimics the THC molecule. So the endocannabinoid system maintains homeostasis. We produce the anandamide and 2-AG upon demand, depending upon what we need to support the endocannabinoid system. All of those 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitters that we talked about. So the interesting thing about these receptors is we have more cannabis CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors in our body than any other, providing feedback to balance us at the cellular level. So we need to correct the signaling between all cells. So not only do these happiness hacks work, but cannabis also works as well. So we're going to get into the next.
Bring us back to balance.
Back to CBD. So now we know why it works. So let's talk a little bit about CBD. What is CBD?
So CBD is one of the molecules in the cannabis plant, and it is always present, depending on how they're breeding it in small amounts or large amounts. You can breed high CBD cannabis strains, and so there's cannabis CBD, which is going to be found in the dispensaries. It's going to have 0.3% or more THC in it. So maybe it's 1% or 2%, but 80% or 90% CBD, right? So you can have a little bit more THC, and some people think that works better. A hemp CBD is going to be the same cannabis plant, but it's different. It grows differently, and the plant looks different, and it's more geared to running the hemp CBD molecules, as well as fibers and things like that we can use CBD for, or hemp for. And CBD is a molecule that is going to interact directly with the ECS, not necessarily on CB1, CB2. It modulates those, but it's active in many other targets, about 70 different targets in the body. And it's pleiotropic, right? Every cannabinoid is pleiotropic, meaning that it's going to have more than one action. In other words, a pharmaceutical is a single molecule. It goes in, does one specific thing on a receptor. When we are using pleiotropic cannabinoids, they are blanketing our body with receptor activation all over the place to massage and nuance us back to health. So we call CBD the great influencer because it is all over the place. But there are other minor cannabinoids, the THCA, CBDA, CBGA. Those are the acidic molecules. Those have never been heated. So they represent the cannabinoids in the raw plant. And those have a different pharmacology than the activated ones, the CBD, CBG, and THC. So all of these have a therapeutic medicinal effect in the body. And we can also take CBD down to an isolate, which really is used for boosting some of the other effects. Sometimes we'll use it to have extra incentives in the body. And I forgot to mention broad spectrum. So you can have a full spectrum hemp CBD product where the THC is removed. So you still have that entourage effect with the CBD, the CBG, the CBC, et cetera, and all the terpenes. But THC is taken out so that we can use it for those are in federal employees, healthcare, cops, firefighters, et cetera, that get drug testing. So if they can't have THC in the body, you can use a broad spectrum or an isolate.
Yep. And so for the newbies out there, just want to let you know the only difference between cannabis CBD and hemp CBD is a lab result. Okay, that's the only difference. So that's why it's really, really important for you all to look at your certificate of analysis to find out how much is in there so you can determine, right? Okay, so now we go to my favorite, THC and CBD, because you need them both. Really, really important to have them both. THC in microdoses will not get you high. Just like we had said before, the THC versus the anandamide molecule, THC molecule is stronger than the anandamide molecule. Anandamide molecule is much lower in strength, 1/10. So THC enhances the efficacy of CBD. CBD makes THC work better. CBD modulates and softens THC psychoactivity without taking away the medicinal effect. CBD is non-impairing and it works on over 70 targets in the body. And when we're looking at CBD, we like to look at chemotypes and ratios. So CBT to THC ratio for maximum gains and minimum side effects. So what does that mean? So we're looking at chemotypes. We have chemotype 1, chemotype 2, and chemotype 3. And those are looking at the ratios of CBD to THC because that can actually help you to determine the type of effect that you may be getting. So a chemotype 1 is higher amounts of THC than CBD. Chemotype 2 is equal parts of THC and CBD. Chemotype 3 is more CBD than THC, or the full spectrum products that we're talking about. So you think about THC may cause euphoria, but basically, and it may cause impairment, but only at high doses. So THC has been very, very effective at easing nausea, quieting pain, promoting sleep, and boosting the immune response to cancer. So we like the power couple. We like to use them together. They're like peas and carrots, peanut butter and jelly. You know, they help each other, and they're going to help you. It's just basically trying to figure out what your ratio is. What is your number?
And what time of day is it, right?
Yeah.
Daytime ratios, high CBD, evening ratios, more THC.
There you go.
Soften the pain, calm you down, help you prepare for sleep.
Yep. Okay. And so now we're going to get into targeted formulas, symptom targeted formulas. And why is this important, Elizabeth? Why do we want to talk about symptom targeted formulas?
Well, because we need a starting point with folks. And the best way to do it is from a harm reduction standpoint. How do we give somebody the ability to try these phytonutrients in the least harmful way, causing the least side effects and the most benefits, right? So you start with CBD, but sometimes CBD is not enough. So our modern chemistry allows us to work with these plant nutrients and sort of direct traffic and bring in more of that entourage effect and ensembles, right? So we can aggregate CBD, CBG, CBN, and use those for evening, for sleep, for pain. We can use symptom targeted formulations for energy and focus. And all of these can be, done through both breeding and how we grow the plants, as well as how we extract and put together these formulations. But the idea is to maximize the benefits, minimize the harms, and give people something they can try without THC, because that's the other thing. These chemistry cannabinoids are able to just work without their full spectrum. So THC is in the formulations, but So go ahead.
So we're gonna get into these different formulas that we think are absolutely fabulous. So Professor Lumiere Hannes, let's talk about him really quickly on the slide, and then we'll pop into formulas. And what we're going to do is we're going to educate you on specific formulas and what you might look for when you're out there shopping for CBD. And we're going to tell you about one of our favorite brands.
So Lumiere Hannes is the namesake of the formulations that we've created here in America for Lumiere CBD, but also for Lumiere formulations from Canam that are going across the globe into several different countries that we're working with. But Lumiere Hannes is the professor that worked with Raphael Mechoulam in the 90s as we were uncovering the endocannabinoid system, how THC works, how the endocannabinoid receptors work, and then Lumiere walked in and discovered the anandamide, the missing link on what activates this endogenous system that we make on our own. So he's very special to us.
Yeah, extremely special to us. And so now we're going to talk about, if you are new to cannabis and you are interested, what might be a good product for you to start with? Topicals. Topicals are amazing. They're a great introduction to cannabis therapy because it acts locally. It's non-impairing and it's easy to incorporate into our healing regimens. So the combination of the plant phytochemicals, cannabinoids, and terpenes provides synergy for that therapeutic healing. Essential oils are often added for fragrance and aromatherapy, which also contributes to the medicinal effect. So topicals work on cannabinoid receptors CB1 and CB2 in our skin, or they're absorbed locally to reduce inflammation, pain, and swelling. And it also provides other benefits to the skin. So this formulation here has 1,500 milligrams of full spectrum CBD, whole plant. It has also terpene components to it, but the primary terpene in it is beta-caryophyllene, also known as BCP. Beta-caryophyllene is a natural substance that's also found in many foods and plants, such as hops, cloves, black pepper, oregano. And research has shown that beta-caryophyllene is highly effective in binding to the CB2 receptors on our nerve cells and immune cells. And so BCP is effective both orally and topically. That's why we have it in our topical. And it helps with overacting immune conditions, inflammation, and pain. So we do have BCP in all of our formulations here. So terpenes in particular are compounds found in cannabis and other plants. And terpenes give cannabis its smell and its flavor. And so they contribute to the entourage effect and also have their own healing properties and work in harmony with the rest of the plant, enhancing its therapeutic potential. So we also have other botanicals that are in there. So many of the phytochemicals that are in the topicals act as antioxidants that get rid of many harmful components in the body. So some of the added botanicals in this topical are arnica, comfrey oil, and calendula. And all of these have an anti-inflammatory effect, provide analgesia, and some of them act as antibacterial and moisturizers. Really, really good product. That's our topical education, and we're going to get into our Recover tincture.
Yeah, I was talking about Recover earlier, and now we can cover it in detail. So Recover is what we have to help mitigate pain and inflammation. Inflammation is the #1 reason that people hurt. Inflammation is also the first thing that starts to erode all of the other systems and issues. So we want to really dampen the inflammatory processes in our body. And CBD can do that. CBG can do that. And CBN is good to calm the neurochemistry so that we can lower some of the pain thresholds and help people relax a little bit more. CBG can help promote anandamide. It can help heal the gut microbiome. And it's really good for some daytime use as well as just that anti-inflammatory benefits. CBD, there's 1,200 milligrams in all of these different tinctures, but that's the base. A good full spectrum organic CBD. It's organically grown in Colorado. And some of these beautiful products. And of course, CBD can influence all of the other targets in the body that we mentioned earlier as well. There are botanicals in this blend. We're looking for anti-inflammatory synergies. So we use turmeric, ginger, and frankincense or bosmeric. This is an old world formulation that is anti-inflammatory and can help limit pain. So this is a go-to blend for anybody that wants to help reduce pain and get back to movement.
Yep, there we go. And moving right along, relax. Who doesn't like to relax? So as we have learned, anxiety causes a stress response and does what? Promotes inflammation in the body. So we need to unwind our minds, soothe our bodies, and relax, right? So this is our solution for helping you to rest and renew. So we need to manage stress resilience by improving our sleep. And these are key things to living well. And this formulation is perfect for that. So this also has 1,200 milligrams of CBD. CBD works on over 70 targets in the body, all of the neurotransmitters to calm the brain and provide relief and promote relaxation. CBN is also a cannabinoid that's in there. It's very calming. It's a neuroprotectant and provides sedating qualities. And then CBDA is one of the acidic versions of CBD. There's 100 milligrams in there. It's a COX-2 inhibitor, and it has anti-inflammatory properties, anti-anxiety effects, and is very calming to the body. We also have other botanicals such as ashwagandha, which is an adaptogen, lemon balm, rosemary, and lavender to round out this rich, rich blend. And then the next one we're going to get into is Reinforce tincture. This is one of my favorite tasting ones, actually.
So we want to reinforce the immune system, reinforce the gut, reinforce our body and how we can manage our inflammation and our healing processes. So restore and revitalize all of these systems with Reinforce. So this starts with the 1,200 milligrams of CBD. Also neuroprotectant antioxidant. We need to talk about that. It's always, in fact, the federal government took out a patent on CBD as a neuroprotectant antioxidant. So helping us preserve nerve cells, the integrity of them, preserving those cells so they don't die. But also the CBDA has that COX-2 inhibition. And some people are trading in their Motrin for CBDA in how strong it is. And it's even stronger than CBD at some of these receptor targets. So it can decrease the inflammation and boost the immune system, but it also supports some of the other functions in wellness, and we're still trying to figure this out. But you've got all of these working together. So 200 of CBDA and 200 of CBGA. This is a formulation that can be really well rounded out by the chaga, the reishi, and the echinacea. So mushrooms and echinacea both activating the ECS, as well as giving us those nutrients that we need to be well and to heal and boost our immune system. It's wintertime. We've got colds and COVID still running around. This might help us stay healthier.
Reinforce is our solution to help you adapt to life's challenges for optimal wellness. And we're going to get into a quick little study because this has to do with two of the ingredients that are in Reinforce, CBDA and CBGA. So let's go through this slide really quick, Elizabeth.
Yeah, so on this slide, essentially Dr. Van Bremen last year discovered that the COVID spike protein, when we have a combination of CBGA and CBDA, we might be able to block that spike protein from binding. So it basically just falls right off and can be excreted. So if we do absorb some of these virus components, we might be able to shed it rather than to connect with it and to become infected. So, what is that? How did some people not get COVID and some people do? Well, our immune system is huge in that, and we want to promote the immune system, and this Reinforce blend just might do that. The dosages that they were working on with some of the CBDA, CBGA, a couple thousand milligrams a day,
really
but
high.
we're just massaging it with a little bit of dosing, just enough to maintain wellness and maybe give you an advantage. I take it every day because it's like an insurance protection for me.
Completely agree. Completely agree. We just wanted to mention that because it is flu season and we want you all to stay well.
Stay well.
Stay well, be well. Okay, Refocus. This is probably one of my favorites because I have such amazing ADHD. In positive psychology, a flow state is also known as being in the zone. And it is the mental state in which a person is performing some activity, is fully immersed in a feeling of being energized, focused, fully involved in enjoying the process of that activity. And I know a lot of us don't like to do things that aren't fun. So that's the dopamine, right? It's always, but this is really, really good. Refocus tincture is amazing. It provides focus, concentration, clarity, energy, and it boosts metabolism for an energized life. So some of the ingredients that are in there is the 1,200 milligrams of CBD, which works on over the 70 targets in the body, like we had said. CBD protects our anandamide molecule from being broken down. CBG, 200 milligram, acts as an anti-inflammatory and analgesic. It heals the gut microbiome, promotes anandamide production, our own bliss molecule, and can also be stimulating to help us with focus. And then my other favorite cannabinoid, THCV. It's known to produce a more motivated, alert, and energized feeling. And it can also be an appetite suppressant. So for those of you that, need to eat, just be aware that this can suppress the appetite a little bit.
But THCV also can help boost insulin sensitivity, promote insulin. So insulin, we need to get the blood sugar, so the glucose into the cells. THCV is being proven to be able to help us process blood sugar so that our blood sugars might be able to trend downwards. So look at your A1C and then take this for a year and then look at it again and see what happens.
Yep. And so other supporting botanicals that are in there is red ginseng, ginkgo, and green tea, which acts as an antioxidant. And these are also for learning and memory. The other terpene that's in here that's distinguished, that's different from the other ones, is humulene. So humulene is very, very energizing and can suppress the appetite. We are seeing good results from people that, need to have the cannabinoid formulations, but are afraid of getting hungry. They're finding this product to be very, very beneficial.
So this would be a daytime blend.
A daytime blend for sure.
Blend.
All right. So we just told you about 5 of our favorite CBD products. Obviously, we created them.
They're Green Nurse approved.
They're Green Nurse approved. At Lumiere Clinic, we are offering our free nurse line, which we're going to get into in a minute. But we've also vetted other products. So Elizabeth and I have been doing this for 16 years together. 8 years her, 8 years me. She's been a nurse for 35 years. I've been a nurse for 34 years, and so we've been in the cannabis space, and we really care about high quality products. So we started vetting products. We do have a vetted CBD marketplace at holisticcaring.com. And these companies follow these Green Nurse approved guidelines.
Yeah. So what is flower derived? We want to make sure that the CBD is processed from the flowers, not just the stalk, stems, and seeds. The flowers are where all the cannabinoids and terpenes are. We want to make sure that it's grown in America. At first, a lot of the hemp came from Europe, China. We don't need to do that anymore. There's plenty of good USA grown hemp. We want to do business with people that are transparent. They have a website that's active. They're doing business. They have their licenses. They have certificates of analysis to show that these products have been certified by third parties, that they are the potency that they say on the labels, that they're free from any kind of pesticides, residual solvents, toxins, etc. We want to make sure that people are doing good business. Good manufacturing practices is a pharmaceutical standard grade. And more we're trying to work with people that can achieve that level of quality. And don't go cheap. CBD is very expensive to produce. A good, well-rounded bottle should cost you about $100. Don't buy it at the gas station for $20 at your checkout. It's probably not going to be working for you. And then make sure that the company is not distorting things and having FDA violations and saying that it's going to do all of this magic stuff. It's not a panacea, but it works with you and some good holistic living so that we can work together. And so call the Nurse Line for more help on how to use them.
If you're taking CBD right now and it's not working for you, call us, because I guarantee you, we have on our website at holisticcaring.com, we have a product evaluation survey. And we can take a deep dive and I can tell you exactly why your product's not working.
Why it's not working? A lot of times people say CBD didn't work for me. What were you taking? How much were you taking? How often were you taking it? What was in the bottle? Was it full spectrum, isolate? Lots of different things.
There's a lot of contributing factors.
There are. Yeah. And so you really need to have some professional person sit down and help you evaluate this, because this is all brand new. People don't know what quality CBD is. We have to teach them, and that's what we do.
That's what we do here. Absolutely. So we're going to wrap up and just going to leave you with some top 10 endocannabinoid system promoting activities to soar to success this year. You deserve to feel good, right? It really, truly is about living your best life and helping others do the same. So listen, number 1, journal 3 things a day that you're grateful for. Mix them up. Right?
Every day, get a new piece. Just keep going in that journal. There's always something to be grateful for.
Yeah. And be kind to yourself. There's no one more important than you, and no one will take better care of you than you.
Self-compassion. Self-compassion leads to other compassion.
Yeah. Eat whole food, nutrient-dense food. Limit the processed foods, like we had said. Fast food, fried food, fake foods, artificial flavors, artificial coloring. Go back to basics, whole foods.
Stock the fridge with good stuff. Stay out of the drive-through.
Yeah. Drink your water, right? So we should be drinking half our body weight in ounces. Unless you're on a fluid restriction. Cheers.
Yeah, water is great.
Supplements.
Especially after all the coffee I drink.
Exactly.
Yeah, supplements. Yeah, functional medicines, functional herbs and essential oils. There are lots of supplements that help encourage and boost the ECS as well as other health. Vitamin D, some of the other omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, magnesium, calcium. There's lots of things that we can talk about on how to strengthen that.
Yep. And exercise. Motion is the lotious. Lotion keeps you feeling well lubed, right? Well oiled. That's what we like to say.
And happy. How many people have a great workout and feel great? You want to keep chasing that because it's good for the body, mind, soul.
Yep. Breath work and meditation. You can take 3 to 10 deep breaths, focusing on the space between the breath. It's deep breath in. There's that space and out. Simple. 3 to 10 deep breaths. That's all it takes. And that can completely 100%.
And I like to pair this with relax.
There you go.
So take your relax and then do some imagery, do some meditation and help. It's a 1-2 punch, right? It's the phytonutrients, but it's also what we do.
Yeah. Nature nurtures. Go outside, explore the changing sights every day. That is truly going to help you with dopamine and serotonin.
And just appreciating nature and how lucky we are to be humans at this time. Yeah, just look at and watch the ants and the trees and the leaves. I mean, I could just go outside and just every single day. I do.
Sound healing, right? What are you listening to? Listen to our webcast. our podcast. And then there's amazing soothing soundtracks you can listen to binaural frequencies. They have a lot of really great things that you can listen to that's going to help your mind.
Yeah.
And then include CBD to your daily life, right? Monitor the positive changes and seriously, call the nurse line, right? Call the nurse line to learn more about how to make CBD work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then this is it. We're winding down. Yeah. So relax, breathe, take it easy, enjoy life, and smile. Book a coaching session. We have 2 websites now, holisticcaring.com, where we have our free community and network with the Green Nurses. Inside of that community, it's run by all nurses and our pharmacist, Charmaine. Charmaine, if you're watching, we love you. She's amazing. We have our introductory to cannabis course, patient portal support, and all of our webcasts are housed there. Also on holisticcaring.com, we have our free 7-page medical cannabis guide.
Sign up for the newsletter and you get it.
Sign up for the newsletter and you'll get that. And then also in there is our Green Nurse approved CBD marketplace. So even though we have formulated our own products and we think they're outstanding, there are a lot of other companies that are amazing and great out there that we've been working with through the years. And we want to share those products with you all as well.
Making good quality medicine, doing the right thing, and in all of the different routes of administration.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then LumiraClinic.com. This is our baby that we birthed together. Seriously.
In the last few months. Yeah.
In the last few months.
And this is going to be the global clinic. And that's why we're running the free nurse line discovery call. It's a triage call. Call us. Will CBD work for me? Here's what's going on. We'll give you your 1, 2, 3. Here's what you do. And we can help support you in that journey, because it is a wild west out there. You have to have somebody that is going to, have the maturity and transparency to do this right. And we're nurses. We've been nurses forever. We are our teams that support us. We have lots of other nurses that are working with us, scientists. We have a medical director that is, working with us. We have all kinds of things going on at Lumira Clinic. So definitely visit that website. Have an extensive learn section so you can learn more about the different cannabinoids, the terpenes, the botanicals that are in these formulations, and many other things. So study up. And then,
so that's a wrap.
Go back. We were going to have that offer for Holiday 20.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, we are still in the holidays. we're extending December for you today.
Yeah, because we're all about happiness hacks. We're all about feeling good. We're all about living our best lives. I'm like, yes, let's just keep the sale going.
Yeah,
right?
Take 20% off with Holiday 20.
Yeah,
we just kept that coupon active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you have any questions at all about anything on any of our sites, please call the free nurse line. We're here to help you and guide you. And then if you have been happy, if this has inspired you, please share. Share this video, invite people to the network, invite people to reach out to us. We are truly here to change the paradigm of healthcare, helping patients to live their best lives. So thank you for joining us today. We are going to be back again, actually next Wednesday. Positively Processing Perception with Nurse Nick Pichette. She has a live workshop that she is running, and Elizabeth and I will be there. So we hope to see you all there as well.
Put that in the network.
I'm going to put put everything on how to get to the network.
So go to holisticcaring.com, click the network, join, and then you can get that free intro course as well as all of these beautiful events.
Yep. All right, everyone. Remember what it's all about. It is about living your best life and helping others do the same. We will see you soon.
God bless.
We're here to educate and empower patients to make choices that are best for them. We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high. Hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing. The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I was cannabis agnostic for many, many years. And the more research I did, the more I discovered the cannabis is this amazing medicine.
I was told that I had a 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The doctor really told me he couldn't do anything else. he gave me her name, and she called me and she came to my house. She started to give me cannabis. My oncologist was puzzled because he couldn't find the cancer anymore.
All of the learning that we get comes from the Green Nurses Group, comes from their support, comes from their guidance. I trust everything that she says.
Simply meet people where they're at. The plant doesn't, stress to grow, so we don't stress to share it. We're healing people.
Cannabis has been used as a medicine for tens upon thousands of years. Here's the big message. Cannabis needs to be federally legal. We need to have laws that are the same across all 50 states that allow access to anyone and everyone who wants to utilize this powerful medicine.